y'all? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Aaliyah, and you're gonna get this voiceover action today because I'm still traveling. But we're about to recap and review Real Housewives of Dubai. This is season 1, episode 5. So let's get into it. So the girls were fighting this morning, and I want to talk about it before we get into the review. And y'all know we do this almost every review, but let's talk about it. It seems like Caroline, Sergio, and Lisa had a lot of things to get off their chest this morning as it pertains to the episode. So Caroline had a series of tweets, and we're going to go over hers, and then we're going to go over Lisa's. I don't really care about Sergio, but Sergio's is woven into what Caroline was talking about. So Caroline starts the conversation off like this. When my company was doing 8 figures, we had over 60 employee factories, distributors, investors, and not just me, one assistant. Hashtag RHO Dubai. I also know the guy who started with them as very well. Pertaining to Lisa and Rich, like as it pertains to her business, Mina Rose. So then she goes on to tweet financer, and basically it was a screenshot of what Google says. And it says a person concerned in management of large amounts of money on the behalf of governments and other large organizations. Then she tweeted, how am I being age shamed by a 40-plus-year-old has been, question mark. I don't understand, hashtag Dubai. And then she goes to say, let's see who reached out to who, and nothing happened under the table. Let's be clear. Nice until I'm not. Then she retweeted what Sergio said. I'm looking for some maternity clothes. Oh, I know the biggest in the world. Started by Mina, and again they got a call. I think he was saying again they got caught in a lie, but he said again they got called in a lie. Hashtag Dubai. Actually, our friend funded your 8-figure business. Hashtag coming out. Not even ranked. LOL at Bravo TV. And basically he took a screenshot of several businesses that are supposed to be highly ranked in maternity wear. A dig at Lisa. Then Caroline retweeted this thing that Sergio said. Everyone is focusing on this while nobody is asking or considering what others are doing for a living. Hashtag the truth always come out at Caroline Stanberry. And people are like, what does this mean? And they say, think about it and watch closely. And then Caroline retweeted a fan who said, don't test the real queen. Y'all ain't ready for this one. Hashtag Dubai, hashtag Real Housewives. And it was basically the guy retweeting Caroline saying, nice until I'm not, hashtag Dubai. Then Caroline actually retweeted Lisa saying this. Caroline Stansberry, stay in your tax bracket. Worry about your husband's racist tweets and all the fake Richard Mille watches he wears on the show. Don't worry about me. And it was at Caroline's name. Let's hope you're paying yours on your 8-figure business. And then she also retweeted something else Sergio said, where he said, hashtag Dubai, me and my 50-year-old influencer are the strongest and happiest we've been. So good luck trying to destroy us. My honey, my forever at Caroline Stansberry. And then he tweeted this underneath that post. Jealousy is a form of hatred built upon insecurity. Then Caroline retweeted another fan that said, looks like the girls finally woke up. Hashtag ROHO Dubai. Well, I was resting, but now you poke the bear and I bite. Then Caroline, and this was the last one. I don't know if she kept talking, but it says, I think the girls need a refresher. Without Caroline Stansberry, there would be no RHO Dubai. The fans calling for her to be a part of ROHO Beverly Hills is what brought this interest. She's the queen. And Caroline retweeted that. So then we're going to mosey over on to Miss Lisa. So like I said, we're moving on to Lisa. Lisa started her tweets off with this. She retweeted someone that said, not a 50-year-old influencer. Hashtag Dubai at Lisa Milan. I love your husband. Another person she retweeted said, Lisa Def deserves Center Peach. I think Stansberry only has it for aesthetics. Then there was another one where someone said, Lisa is the most gorgeous housewife ever. She said, thank you. And Lisa is very pretty. She's a beautiful girl. Next, we have her with the whole Caroline, stay in your tax bracket, worry about your husband's racist tweets and all of the fake Richard Millie watches he wears on the show. Don't worry about me at C_Stansberry. Then she goes on to say, is Sergio trying to distract us from those racist tweets? We didn't forget, waiting on the apology. Get a job. I would offer you one, but it takes more than being a sugar baby to work for Mina Rowe. Hashtag stay out of women's business. Then she goes on and says, where was this energy 5 days ago when they watched the episode? Publicity stunt, or she must be drunk again. Then she retweeted someone saying, not only are they carrying this season or on their backs, they're looking absolutely gorgeous while doing it. And it's a picture of Aion and Lisa, and they do look very beautiful. And then she retweeted her fashion line, Mina Rose, and it said, fashion for every stage of motherhood, shop today. Then Sarah had a tweet where she was upset with the sneak peek of what's to come about Aion and what's her name? Lisa, saying that she was being preachy and judgmental. So Sarah said this: so it's okay to be dramatic, negative, rude, and a Debbie Downer, but when you are a positive person that always wants to uplift others, inspire them, bring out the best, and support them, you're called preachy, and it's not okay. Sorry, I don't fit in the trend. Never wanted to. Hashtag Dubai. Then Brooks, with her messy self, gonna say, I thought I was going to binge watch Gossip Girl today, but nope, I'm gonna binge watch Twitter. This is not what I expected in this calm Friday afternoon. Hashtag ROHO Dubai. And it ended that way. Lisa did have another tweet, but this was after Sergio. After Sergio did his post about, like, I'm looking for maternity wear, shading Lisa's business. Lisa came back and said this: Sergio, happy to send you some maternity post-pregnancy wear if and when your new baby comes. We know you'll be the one wearing it. And there you have it. That's what was happening this morning for Miss Dubai. Now let's get into this review. Okay, y'all, so let's get into this review. So it opens up and we see Brooks in her little shimmy dress. It was actually a really cute dress. It was like pink with the little tassels, and she's meeting up with this guy named Sean. We end up finding out that Sean is actually her cousin, and he moved to Dubai around the same time that she moved to Dubai. We then get this like corny montage of Phaedra like sauntering up to the table. And it was a mess. It was just a mess. But we see Phaedra. We end up finding out that Sean and Phaedra know each other. And Sean was the reason why Brooks and Phaedra are cool, because Phaedra was looking for real estate. And we know that Brooks' claim to her wealth was through real estate. So they connected that way. Brooks asked, Phaedra asked Brooks, like, you gonna come over to, like, when you gonna come to Dubai? Are you ever gonna come back to America? Brooks is like, sis, I'm never going back to America. Like, they treat black people over here like royalty. And Sean seconded that. They then had this dialogue about husbands, how, and I don't know if they showed it or if I'm just remembering it from like a clip I saw of them, where Phaedra asked about, like, y'all can have multiple wives over here, right? And Brooks was like, yeah, in this country you can, and it's legal, but you have to be able to afford them. Like, you have to be able to provide the same amount of lifestyle that you can provide for your first, your second, your third. If you can't do that, it's frowned upon. And I'm like, okay, I can get with that. I was looking at shows, on TLC, that one show called Seeking Sister Wives. That show is a train wreck, because I know none of the men got wealth. None of the men have wealth, because the wealth that Brooks is talking about is probably like wealth in the sense of, like, you can have multiple homes and each wife live a very, very comfortable lifestyle. But we find out that Brooks invites Phaedra to come with her to skiing in Dubai. So the next scene we see is of Lisa and her family. They're messing around with the goat that Aion brought, and Lisa is over the goat. Lisa is tired of the goat, and it seems like Rich is tired of the goat, but the kids love the goat, although they don't really aid in taking care of the goat. And Lisa does this little thing where she was like, Miss Goat, if you eat, that lets us know you want to go somewhere else. But her child being smart, I think it was her oldest son, who was like, that's not fair because she always eats. And then he started crying because he doesn't want the goat to go away. Lisa is like, okay, she can stay for one more week. And he's like, no, a year. And my thing about it is, I think they would have a better experience with the goat if they had shelter for the goat. It seems like they just let the goat wander, and I'm like, y'all have enough money where y'all could build like a makeshift like goat hut or like where the goat has enough room to walk around, to eat and sleep and be okay. The fact that it seems like y'all just let it roam, of course it would be annoying. As someone that has worked with goats, they poop without indiscretion. When I tell you, I can't tell you how many times I've have been pooped on or pooped near when I was in school working with goats, that I'm just kind of like, that would be annoying. So then we see a sit down with Rich and Lisa, and Rich is like basically like, what happened at the get together? Like what happened at Beiji's party? And Lisa basically explains that Caroline told her she gonna suck her husband's D. Rich is like, what? He was like, don't let no 50-year-old influencer get underneath your skin. And then Lisa lets us in on knowing that in Dubai you can actually like get arrested and for like being a public nuisance, so like screaming, shouting, and cussing. So I think Rich is like, girl, meet her with kindness. Don't be out here showing your ass, especially not over nobody like that. So she's like, okay, that's the approach I'm going to take. The next scene we see is Aion actually going over to Sergio's and Caroline Stanberry's home. It was a nice sit down. I thought it was actually nice that they were able to share. We end up finding a lot more about Aion and Caroline. We find out that Caroline was in boarding school from like age 6 to like 17 or 18. Then at the end of the episode, she says she was in boarding school from like 17 to 18. And she only went home like for holidays, but she wasn't around her family a lot. So having a family to her is kind of like, it's weird. She's not very family oriented, and you can't really blame her, especially if you were at boarding school all those times. Like, your formative years actually shape how you're going to be as it pertains to, especially with your family, as it pertains to how you like relate and associate with people. So living in that environment, because we're not going to act like school isn't toxic. It's a microcosm of toxicity and like mess, that this is not why Caroline is the way she is, why she's cold, why she's very like in like, I'm going to do what I want to do, because she really has been on her own. And she even said that it taught me that people aren't going to come save you or are going to be there. But Sergio is different. Sergio grew up with his parents. Sergio is always on the phone with his parents. So he is very family oriented. So it's kind of weird that he would be with Caroline. And that's when the whole sugar baby, sugar mama thing comes into play. But I was kind of annoyed that he was in this scene. There was no need for him to be in this scene. But we find out that Aion has 2 passports. She has one from Kenya that says she's 35, and then she has another one from America that says she's 40. She was like, in my village, I was born in a village. There was no doctor. There was no birth certificate like that. If I was Aion, I would take the average of those two ages and say, baby, I'm 37, and call it a day. But she invites them to her party. Before she leaves, they have a conversation about how Lisa was being aggressive and really coming at Caroline. But Caroline left out the part where she told Lisa to suck her husband's D. And my thing about it is Caroline, you got caught in a lie. You got caught in a lie and you couldn't own it. And that's just what it is. You got caught in a lie and you wasn't ready to own it. And Lisa let you know what it was. So girl, miss me with that. We then see a scene with Nina and Sarah where they're driving to Sarah's father's home, or one of their family homes. I think she said family homes. And we find out in the Emirati culture that there's designated days in families where everyone comes together and they really spend time with one another. We find out that her parents were arranged to be married, not really arranged to be married, but like they fell in love when they were like 15 or 14 and they got married. And then boom, pam, pow. That's how we got Sarah. We end up finding out that like, so that makes sense why her dad looks so young and youthful, because the man is young. But he seems really sweet. Sarah invited Nina over mainly because she can tell that Nina is really missing her family and she just wanted to share this moment with her. We find out that Nina's family left Lebanon because of all of the discourse and war, and she was like, her family moved to America with basically nothing, and that taught her how to be more compassionate for others and things like that. So that's the way, that's the reason why she's the way she is. We then have a scene where we find out that like, even though people have kitchens in their homes, I guess in her family, they always cook outside. I guess they don't want the fragrance of cooking. But I also oftentimes think that's a good thing. Like, I love going to like my grandparents' homes or even at my parents' home, and like it smells like everyone's been cooking. I don't know. Food is like an integral part in people's culture. So like, I would like that smell. I mean, but I do understand sometimes it be too robust and then it get into your furniture and then you can't get rid of it. So that's understandable. And it seems like they, like us, use a lot of spices. So we then get this scene of Aion and Lisa hanging out at the mall and having like a little lunch date. I don't understand why Aion took off her shoes. Although those floors look clean, I bet you they not that clean. They are not that clean. Because there's been several malls in America that I've gone to that are like for, the upper class, and the floor looks so clean that you can eat on it. But the issue is people's shoes are dirty. The foot traffic that come in and out of these malls, no ma'am, no God. She should have had on some flats or some bedroom shoes. I was like, Aion, if you don't go somewhere and sit down for you get gout or something, I don't know, or get fungus on your feet. So Aion and Lisa have this conversation. Lisa tells Aion about Caroline telling her to suck, her husband D. Aion was like, oh my God, like she did not tell me that. And Lisa was just kind of like, I'm glad you two made up, but me and her, we don't see it for each other. Like, I don't see it for her, but I'm going to treat her with kindness and I'm going to keep it pushing. The next scene we see is them at the indoor skiing. Like I said, Brooks invited everybody. It was shady of Brooks to invite Lisa and Stansberry without telling them that either one of them was going to be there. But Brooks already said she wanted to start some drama. There was no need for Sergio to be there. It's kind of like, why is Sergio at all these events? Like, yeah, he can be at the dinners and the sit downs, but he doesn't need to be at every group event. Stansberry had a stick up her ass for no reason because she was just being difficult. They all had decided to put on the actual resorts or the ski resort. They had snowsuits because Phaedra was like, well, I didn't bring any no snow gear. And Brooks was like, oh, they have it there so you can put it on. Everybody wore it, but Caroline was like, I'm not going to wear it, nor am I going to ski. I just came here to meet Phaedra and have a good time. And I'm like, well, then you shouldn't have came then. You shouldn't have came. She just made it awkward, and there was no need for her to be pissy and have that moment. It just really was no need. But it seemed like everyone had a good time. I've been skiing. I didn't really enjoy it, but it was funny to me because I remember the guy, our ski instructor, saying if you want to go fast, you make your legs a French fry. If you want to stop, you make a pizza. And I didn't notice that Sean was there until Sean was like, how you stop? And I was like, it's pizza, French fry, pizza, French fry. That's how I learned how to ski. But yeah, Caroline Stansberry was just being a spoiled sport. She was just being a Debbie Downer, and it was annoying. We then get to Ayan's birthday. She looked beautiful in that little red outfit that her friend actually gave to her. I guess he's a designer for her birthday. Everybody came. We find out that I guess her son's birthday, because he was also there at the birthday party or birthday dinner. I think is like 4 days or 3 days after Aion's birthday, or maybe the day before or after her birthday. Either way, they celebrated the birthdays together. I think Aion definitely needs to work on the whole I'm gonna be attached to the hip to my son. Like, it's cute, but I'm just hoping Aion isn't that type of mother where it's like if her son gets like a significant other, that she's going to be like feel like disrespected or pushed to the side because all his time is allotted to that other person in his life. Because it was kind of like, at first it was cute, but after a while it becomes cringe. It just becomes a lot. But I do think that comes from her childhood and wanting to just shower her son with love because she wasn't showered with that same love and affection. So in that regard, I understand. And several speeches were made by her husband and her son, and it was really sweet. It was corny, but very sweet. And I'm happy for Aion. I'm happy that she is able to live this life that seems to be full of so much joy and happiness, because we realized she didn't have that. I'm glad that in her later years where it really counts, like her 20s, her 30s, her 40s, and beyond, she was able to meet her husband, have a child, and really enjoy her life. So like I said, I'm happy that she had that experience. Things are getting very awkward at the other end of the table, because at this dinner party, you got Nina's husband, Sergio, Caroline, and Nina having this conversation about Caroline not really wanting to sit with her family. I guess in their cultures, the day or the 2 days before the wedding, you're supposed to sit around your family. Like, Sergio is just supposed to be around his mom and his dad, and Caroline is just supposed to be around her mom and her dad. But we find out that Caroline is like, I don't really talk to my family like that. We talk maybe 2 times out of the year. And then she expresses again how she was like, bro, I was in boarding school from age like 7 to 18 or 6 to 18. Like, I didn't build that bond with my family. So I love my parents, but like, we not cool like that. So that's why it's obvious, like, it's weird to her the way Sergio fawns over her family. And that's the downside of like just sending your children away. Like, when you just send your kids away, you don't develop that relationship. And Caroline's basically like, bro, I didn't want to get married. I'm only getting married because I met somebody that was young. Had I met somebody at my age, we wouldn't be getting married. I was fine with getting married. Nina voiced her opinion that, like, I get how you're feeling, but it can be seen as disrespectful that you don't want to take part in his traditions, as well as that, like, it's his first wedding, so you should participate in these things. And Caroline's whole thing is like, no, I got friends coming from LA and from America to come see me, to be a part of this. I want to spend time with them. And I think that's what happens when your parents do you like that. Like, if you send somebody away, they start to put more value into friendships. Not saying that's wrong, because I have friendships that I see them as family members, but it seems like Caroline puts more stock in those relationships than her family. And that, to me, is understandable when your family just threw you away at 6 and was like, go to school. But the episode ends there. It was awkward. Sergio looked like he was about to cry. And that was just that. So yeah, y'all. Give me your thoughts below. That is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic and drop down in the comments below. Bye.